Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to a safe space for the strong. This is going to be an impromptu video because my next video truly was supposed to be a continuation with my conversation with Miss Julia Banks. But after the things that transpired this weekend, not only nationwide, but personally, I felt as though I needed to come through with this video. So first, let me just thank everybody that tuned in last week to my very first live with Miss Julia. That was such an awesome time, and I thank everybody for their participation, for their views, and the support and encouragement that was given throughout that video. So I feel like that was an awesome format to be able to have that conversation, and I'm absolutely going to pull her back on again. I actually want to see if she and I can sit down again this week or early next week. But thank you everyone that did that. I really appreciate it, and I really loved having Miss Julia. I really loved having somebody there with me, which was awesome. So this video, as you can see, I'm driving. So everybody's probably going to be like, I can't believe you did that. I do this a lot. So just let me live my life for today. What I'm going to come and talk to you about this morning is something that sits so very near and dear to my heart that it is me. We are going to talk about being in a safe space to be able to deal with mental health, specifically in our communities and as women. In my effort to be as transparent as I possibly can be, I want to basically be see-through. I'll give my story. So a lot of you that know me and know me personally, one of the very first things you find out about me is that I don't want any more children. But if you look at my pictures on Facebook, you see my posts. I really love kids. I think they're funny. I love watching them grow into who they're going to be. I love when they learn new things and you're just watching them become the person that they are. I love kids. And honestly, if there was nothing holding me back, I probably would have been that mother in the shoe, just like with my kids. But unfortunately, I suffered with various serious bouts of postpartum depression with both of my children. And to the point with both of them, I was suicidal afterwards. It was very tough. There's a better word for it, but it's Monday morning and we're on our way to work. It was a very difficult time and period in my life, especially after having Jacelyn, that I suffered through this postpartum. I don't even know where to begin, but I'll try to start as where I can. So I've suffered from depression and anxiety since I was a young lady, as in before I even got in high school. I didn't live with my mom. I lived with my grandmother, and the abuse sexually, mentally, physically that I had to deal with living there, it just kind of transpired over. And then when I moved in with my mom at 14 after foster care, it just didn't stop. And as a 14-year-old woman, young lady, that doesn't have the maturity yet to process things as we should, when we're older, I just felt like the world was against me. So I tried to take my life a couple of times with my mom. And she thought I was looking for attention, but I really was looking for a way out. And then I had Adrian. And with Adrian, I didn't realize what I was going through, but I just knew something wasn't right. I knew things had shifted dramatically to the point that I wasn't sleeping. I was always on the go, but I had to make sure he was okay. So I went into survival mode. So I was working all the time. I worked at Ace Hardware, and I worked somewhere else. I can't remember that second. Oh, I worked at the Weeping Radish. Yes, I was waiting tables, and I was working at Ace Hardware. And I used to have, and I'm actually going to mention her name, and I don't think she realized how much she helped me through that time, even though it wasn't a mental, but she was there for me to help with Adrian. So her name is Lynette, It's my friend Shanae's sister-in-law, because it's her brother's sister. It's her husband's sister. Lynette helped me a lot with my son, and I don't think she realized just how much she really helped me with him. And then I almost put my son up for adoption. I still remember the young lady that he was supposed to go to, because I just couldn't handle it. And then, after praying, mind you, at that point, I really wasn't the prayer warrior that I am now, but I just sent out a prayer. I was like, God, please just help me. And I got a call from my school, and they said, if you're still interested, you still have time to come. And Adrian's grandmother, which is his dad's mom, said that she would keep Adrian for me to be able to go to school. I did not realize when I went to school, I was still depressed. I thought everything was all good at that point, and it really wasn't. And my friends, as we went through our freshman year, they had some scary moments with me. And I thank them for still sticking by me and still being my friend to be my friends to this day. And they really, truly helped me with Adrian. So when I finally got out of my postpartum, I didn't know that's what it was called until good old Brooke Shields came into the mix and started making us aware of postpartum depression. And that's when everybody was like, oh, that might be what it is. But it still hadn't trickled down to my Black community, because, we won't talk about mental health. You either had a nervous breakdown or you went crazy. It was never in between. You either had a nervous breakdown and you would be okay, or you were just crazy. So by the time I finally came out of my depression with Adrian, he was doing okay. I was doing okay. We were making moves, and we were doing okay. We were living in New York at this point. I think he had to be in like first or second grade, and we were really getting there. I was really starting to get the swing of adulting and stuff like that. And we were moving along. We were starting to see the light, starting to see our financial light. And we were doing things. We were making little moves, and I was feeling good about things. We were starting to travel, and I'm seeing that everything isn't horrible. And then I had Jacelyn. So the first thing I did, because I knew now the possibility of what could happen, I said I'm going to nurse her, because I had read that breastfeeding helps eliminate that. I also knew breastfeeding helped with weight gain. So I was like, okay, we about to breastfeed. I was a lot older at this point, because Adrian is 10 years older than his sister. I was like, this is going to be good. Little did I know that thing was going to hit me like a wrecking ball. I'm telling you now, thank God for God. I'm going to tell you now, thank God for God. And I'll tell it to you on the mountaintops, thank God for God. That postpartum with Jacelyn almost put me down. It was not a game. It was a man down situation. I didn't know who I was. I was a walking zombie. I couldn't sleep. I actually went to my doctor for Ambien, and I took 3 Ambien and sat up through 3 seasons of The Wire. Still one of my favorite shows. Couldn't put me down. I was eating like a maniac, and I had this beautiful, sweet baby. Jacelyn was an idyllic child. She was not a crier. She cried when she needed to, like when she was teething, but she was not colicky. She was smart as the dickens. She nursed like a champ, like she could write a book on what to do to nurse. This girl was amazing. Adrian was an awesome big brother. He still is. But in my mind, my life was over. Her dad had left me. It was just horrible. And then my mom died. My anxiety levels went through the roof. I still don't drive on the highway. My daughter is 10 next month. If I have to get on that highway, you better be ready with something by the time I get off of that highway to calm me down, because it is a wrap for me. It is horrible. And I still have to work through this every day. I still have to push through. I still have to battle depression every day. Every day I have to make sure I'm having an okay day. I know how my cycle goes every month, so I have to make sure I'm prepared for what may happen mentally to me. So I have to brace myself and be like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. We got to visualize. We have to do this. You don't understand. the conversations I have to have with myself to make sure I'm okay. And the thing about it is I know there's more women like me. I know there's more people like me that care to admit it or will face it. Unless you have a serious diagnosis like bipolar or schizophrenia, or there's a substance abuse issue or an alcohol abuse issue, people don't really want to pinpoint it or touch it. And I don't think they want to touch it, because if they touch it, that means they may have to admit they have had some of these thoughts themselves, or it's closer to their home than they know or care to admit. Because if anybody is dealing with mental health issues, it's your fault. It's my fault that my child is going through this. It's your fault. If you had did just this, if you weren't a single parent, your kids wouldn't have to go through this. And I'm like, my God, you don't understand. Mental health issues do not have a set person. You do not have to be white. You do not have to be black. You do not have to be a woman. You do not have to be fat, tall, short, whatever. It will come for you. It is an equal opportunity demon. It comes to you and it will ravish your life. I said to my friend yesterday, I said, depression is a liar, but it will isolate you and make it the only voice you hear. I didn't know how else to explain it. I didn't know what else to say. All I know is it will keep you in a state that you don't know what to do. And what you think is your friend is not your friend. You find yourself looking for the next high, whether it's a drug, whether it's alcohol, whether it's sex, whether it's food. And food is my favorite, because not only is food a good friend, I can cook well, so I can get creative with it. So that's the friend that's ready to party, because it's ready to go all over the place. And this is why I deal with the weight issues up and down, all around. And it's so stressful. It's so stressful. It's so stressful. And then when you hear people say stupid stuff like, well, just put the fork down. Or if sex is your thing, you're just a hoe. Or if drugs are your thing, well, aren't you smart enough to know better? Or if alcohol is your thing, well, you're just a drunk and you don't know what war is waging or battling inside of that person all day, every day. So I am going to urge you in my safe space, in this safe space, to begin to be okay if you are dealing with something that is a mental illness. Begin to put a word to it. Stop thinking that you're crazy, because crazy is not what you think it is. Begin to start to say, okay, what can I do to get some help? Even if you sit down with your friend or your mom or your dad and say, listen, this is what's going on. I need some help. Crazy doesn't mean I have to go or behavioral health doesn't mean I have to go be checked into a hospital. But if you do need to be checked into a hospital, be checked into a hospital. If that means you need to take some time away from people, take that time away from people. We have to stop just coping, and we have to be able to be given the space to heal. Guys, I thank you so much for coming into my safe space this morning. If you come into the safe space and you begin to try to judge me or anyone else that comes in here, I will so beautifully escort you towards the door. These are things I don't play. Okay, this is a safe space. It's safe for me. It's safe for anyone else that joins me in here. Thank you so much, everyone, for the support that has been given. I appreciate you. I love you. Again, if you want to be a conversation starter with me and come and have a safe conversation with me, please inbox me at Aisha E. White on Facebook, or IG homegirl_@ish, or you can email me at safespaceaew@gmail.com. Like, share, and subscribe this video. I thank you again. I love you all. Have a great day. Bye-bye.